Can you hear me? All right. The West was built on the backs of blacks who never got a piece of the wealth. I can tell you why racism is a lie, but the melanin speaks for itself. We inherited the continent that gave birth to the human race.
Oh, I did that already. Make some noise for Mrs. Panga. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. I've told this story a million times.
This was inspired by a true story, and one person really opened my eyes to all of this going on in Kampala. So please, Andrew, wherever you at, bro, come. Now's your time. Make some noise. He's kind of shy and he likes to be in the shadows. But now's not the time for that. Come here, bro. And Tracy, I see you as well. Please, by all means. So I have a story. About 4 years ago, we came over to do our first show with Akadope. I don't know if any of you guys were there at the time. Pick up anyone that came to support us. And as soon as we landed off the plane, there was a driver that came to pick us up. He was recommended by one of my cousins. This guy didn't know who I was, but we got to talking and he said that he really likes UK music. I asked him, who do you listen to in the UK? He told me I was some guy called George the Poet. I said, yeah? And I let him talk for like 10 minutes, just to see what he thinks of this George the Poet guy. And it seemed like we were really on the same page about a lot of issues. And to cut a long story short, that guy became one of my closest friends in Kampala. And he's coming around. He's coming around. And that is Andrew. Now, 2 years ago, my wife and I came, Angela, and this was at a time where Uganda was just coming out of lockdown, COVID was still a thing. And Andrew said to me, you know, it's been hard for people out here. You know, you won't hear about it on the news, but the things that some people are going through is crazy. And he introduced me to some people, he showed me how people are living, he shared his experiences with me, and I was so moved that I had to write something. That was 2 years ago now. So please, make some noise for the one that opened my eyes. Yeah, Andrew. And along with Andrew, we have Tracy, a lot of you know Tracy, who's the voice of Stella. So, please, Andrew, any words? How does it make you feel to hear that story?
Excuse me. Yes, how is it going? Thank you for coming down and showing up. Sorry, I'm kind of nervous. I don't so much listeners, but such a good honor to meet such a person. So giving me the opportunity, thanks for pushing man and his father. I didn't even have the character of doing this, but he gave me the courage to do it. So I do believe if you're struggling with it, you just have to believe in yourself. He's always talking to you. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to the culture. You just love everybody. Life is as easy as that. So I'm so much blessed, and I feel honored to be honored by him. Thank you so much.
Tracy, would you like to add anything to that? Thank you so much for your performance. You did a great job.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tracy. I'm humbled that you all came out today to support George. George, my God, George is an incredible human being. The first time I met him in studio, I literally screamed because I wasn't expecting to meet him there. He directed me on this. I haven't done very many voice acting gigs, so thank you for believing in me. And I believe this is the beginning of so many great opportunities. Thank you for loving Uganda. And it's great to meet you, Andrew. They're both grounded human beings, so I can see how they connected. And I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
All right, all right. One hand clap for George as well for being a good director and collaborating with talent. All right, we're going to have a brief conversation. You ready for that? You can have a seat over there. They're telling you many things, but some people in the audience also want to know a few things about George, the poet. You can grab your mic. I think, don't worry, we're going to have this for a brief time, but people would like to know, who are you, man? Are you in Uganda?
I'm Ugandan. I was born in London. I was raised in London. My parents brought me to Uganda when I was a kid. And when I was about 19, I came and I stayed with my other parents at the back there, my Uncle Dowdy and my Auntie Fiona. And I was introduced to the Uganda that many of you know. So I fell in love. I love Uganda.
Okay. Yeah, you can clap for that. There are very many Ugandans I know that left and they no longer care about us. But thank you, George. Allow me to read something that was said about George's podcast. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a listening experience, so I hope we listen. George the poet and his collaborator Ben released the first season of Have You Heard George's podcast in 2018. There was nothing like it. 5 years on, there still isn't. Such is the series' exquisite combination of rhyme, the sound design, the music, the ideas. No other podcast has come close to replicating it. Not for nothing series. It has also been noted to have won a Peabody Award. What is the Peabody Award? Give it up, give it up, give it up. I'm clueless. He's really humble, right? But this guy, I've seen him videos, I'm told he has performed with some amazing people. I'm still hearing rumors. But after Empire Chapter 4 of Have You Heard George's podcast is now on air with a new episode being released every Friday on BBC Sounds. Someone clap for that as well. Wherever you listen to podcasts, this year the award-winning podcast delivers an epic exploration of African independence movement and its legacy. I was paraphrasing someone else's quote, shouting praises at George the poet. But all I can say is welcome. What you've done right here is amazing. I don't know if you've realized it. I don't know if the audience you've also realized. There's a lot of collaboration happening today. There is rappers, poets, painters, photographers, musicians, and to bring us all here for this session is amazing. Let's give him another round of applause for that. All right, real quick, just for the creatives, yeah? Podcasting, audio, visual, literature. Why venture into that?
I moved to podcasting because I wanted to tell deeper stories, and I encourage, there are so many amazing poets that we've heard today, some we haven't even heard. I encourage you guys to not limit yourself. If you want to give more detail, if you want to give more of yourself, podcasting is for you.
All right, thank you. Precise, clearly you've attended BBC Studios. I'm just trying out my gig at podcasting right here. I hope I'm hired somewhere. I'm applying. One second question for you. When it comes to the challenges, the opportunities you've met, there's so many creatives here who would like to give it a try. They don't know where to start from. They're scared. Where are the challenges? Where are the opportunities?
So it's always a challenge getting your work in front of people, but as long as you're creative, you know, don't be lazy. Don't get one thing that you like doing and just stick to that. Always try something else. I've never made a story like the one that you've heard today, so it's my first time, and I don't know, you guys might hate it, but I'm gonna try, and we go from there. So don't be scared to try new things. and avoid avoid giving your career to someone else. You know, have an idea of what you want to do, and if you make your mistakes, that's fine, but as long as you're responsible for yourself.
All right. Thank you very much. It's all about love, and our rehearsal, we agreed. We just have to share love and appreciation. We're not here for a talk show, so I'm going to give the audience just one question to George. It could even be personal. Okay, you know she's over there, right? So, all right.
Hello everyone, my name is Maxwell. So I was listening to your podcast and you mentioned how you mentioned from rapping to doing poetry just to avoid the stereotype. And there are other things that you've not done just because of that to avoid the stereotype of black guys are thieves and that's all of that. And there are things you would have wanted to do but didn't do just because of that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I used to be a rapper, and I stopped rapping because I wanted to present a different kind of image, a different approach. There are a lot of things that I didn't do. You know what? When I wanted to make it as a rapper, I was still a young man, and I was into the same things that most young men are into, but I just wasn't famous. So I was free to make my mistakes in private and try things in private. And I tried not to broadcast every single mistake, which I think a lot of our rappers, they do sometimes. They show you the bad side. And we all have a bad side, but sometimes just give yourself space to grow. Don't do anything too crazy. So I think, yeah, I really kept my younger phase like to myself, really.
Wow, thank you so much for that good answer and a good question. The audience will clap. Clap. That was a very brilliant question, and creative conversations are worth having, right? So let me just allow me have only one more. Have you allowed? Let the audience allow. Have you allowed?
Thank you. Lots of respect to you, George. A few years ago, you turned down the MBE award, which is the member of the Order of the British Empire, for your, an award that is given to it's a special award given to someone who's done outstanding work for their community. So you turned it down, and that's from the British, well, the Queen. Basically, you turned down an award from the Queen. But then I also understand that now your podcast is on the BBC. So I'd like to know, how did you find the balance? Because for me, it's one of the same. Yeah. So respect.
Yeah, that's a good question. I was on the BBC before the MBE came in, but it's been a journey. I was speaking to someone earlier about how this art, for us poets, it's a journey. We're just figuring out ourselves. And at the start of my journey, in this podcast, the BBC were the most interested in what I was doing, intellectually. They really cared about what I was doing. So I wanted to go with them. I could have gone with Spotify, I could have gone with Apple, I could have gone with someone else. And they might maybe have given me more money. But because the BBC was actually giving me the space to say everything I wanted to say, I had no beef with them. When this MBE thing came up, that really forced me to think about what Britain is and what Britain means to Uganda and to Africans in general. And when I did that reflection, which was encouraged once again by my wife at the time, she wasn't even my girlfriend, which is a point about keeping good people around you. When I finally reflected on what Britain really means, my feelings changed. And I was honest about that in my podcast. I didn't know that at the start, but that's where I ended up. So I will always be honest with you guys as my listeners and tell you how my ideas and my feelings are changing.
All right. Big hand clap to the wonderful questions. You have more information than the MC that's not allowed? My director has asked for one more question. One more question? George, you have more to soon than I do. So, all right, one more. Just one more. Okay.
Hi, George. Very many Ugandans. How best can we bridge the gap between people in the diaspora and people here? I feel like there's a lot we can learn from you people. The people.
Yeah, shy, my guy. So this is a very good point. There's two things I would say. Firstly, when it comes to engaging the diaspora, start young. So don't just look at your little cousins and your nieces or nephews who live that side as, you know, they're too young for me. You can start to influence them. When they come to Uganda, or even if their parents don't bring them, when you tell their parents to bring them, make sure that you show them. Chai, for those of you who don't know, has a clothing line that he does amazing work. He's wearing it now. And the minute I met him, just a couple of weeks ago, I had to get like 3 of his items. But I was able to do that because I was in India at the time. You know, I was on the ground, I was able to see what you're doing, but if I was that side, I wouldn't know. So when those young people come, make sure that they see more than just what their parents do. Let them see what you're doing, let them see what the artists are doing. Big up Patty Max in the corner. We got talent in this city. That's one thing. Secondly, about what the Ghanaians did, the year of return, I think that's a very good point. And I think Uganda is in a place, and the diaspora is in a place where there's more interest and there's more hunger than ever. I'm telling you guys, the diaspora, they want to be here. We dream of being here. We dream of being able to connect with you guys and live with you guys. It's just that we're over there, things take time. It's a hustle. But as long as you guys continue to do what you're doing, continue to use the creative space, the clothes, the poetry, the music, we will grow together. So thank you for that question.
Wow. I should have consulted the audience from the beginning. You guys were amazing. A big hand clap, please. Put your hands together, everybody. Stand up if you can. Let's welcome George the poet. Yeah! Come on. He's earned it. Make some noise, everybody.
Man. Hey. Can you hear me? All right. The West was built on the backs of blacks who never got a piece of the wealth. I can tell you why racism is a lie, but the melanin speaks for itself. We inherited a continent that gave birth to the human race at the peak of its health. So the imagery they've been selling is irrelevant. The melanin speaks for itself. And all the books that tell our side of the story are normally the ones they leave on the shelf. But the truth is written in who we are. The melanin speaks for itself. Nowadays they talk about remorse, but despite how deeply it's felt, despite the leaders so eager to help, despite the cards we've been recently dealt, when we start pushing for answers, they start pulling them doubtful expressions. All of a sudden, they're out of suggestions, but reparations is out of the question. Brethren, the West was built on the backs of blacks who never got a piece of the wealth. It's time we told our story too. The melanin speaks for itself. Thank you. Let's go. Mama told us. Let's go. I wrote this one back when I was signed to a record deal, and I knew that I was in the wrong situation, and it's the only way I could put it. Yo, it all comes together when I
see progress. I don't see nobody else. I don't need your negativity, cause it doesn't help. Mommy told us never sell your soul, cause Mommy told us never sell your soul, cause Mommy told us never sell your soul, cause my mommy told us never sell your soul, cause. You know what I'm saying? It all comes together when I talk to myself. So I'm keeping my thoughts to myself, especially now that I'm signed to a label and no man is an island. I can't pull off the move by standing in silence. I'm supposed to be giving the man the guidance, general thing, front line of the war. Even though I never had a hand in the violence, it divides our communities. We've had practice for 30 years and I'm still bumping into new nitties. Feels like I'm living in two cities. I might seem like a nice youth from afar, but I tell a junkie, move from my car. No, I don't have 50p, furthermore, don't watch what I drew from my card. Turns that you when I've gone to the barbers. Glad to see these sons with their fathers, but they're still brand new baby moms. Walking sexy in front of the barbers. My friend don't like her sister's boyfriend's cousin, so on and so forth. One time they had a problem in Tottenham and since then you don't want to go no. When I like George, I appreciate you want to talk about the good things. But don't you think you could maybe sometimes focus on the good things? I first got that when I was mainly in uni, but I don't watch that really and truly. Unless you're taking on our history, this artistry's catharsis for me. So what can we gain by asking for peace? I studied politics, 7 years, never read a book with an answer for me, but there's no limit if we master the P. The hip-hop movement was a sick idea. There's a lot of rappers with sick ideas, but the whole movement was messed up. When I was signed to a label, I saw all sorts of madness. You guys don't know what goes on in the music industry, but when you told you, see it all comes together when I talk to myself. I see money, I see progress. I don't see nobody else. I don't need your negativity, cause it doesn't help. Mommy told us never sell your soul, cause Mommy told us never sell your soul, cause Mommy told us never sell your soul, cause my mommy told us never sell your soul, cause. One more time. Said it all comes together when I talk to myself. I see money, I see progress. I don't see nobody else. I don't need that negativity, cause it doesn't help. Mommy told us never sell your soul, cause Mommy told us never sell your soul, cause Mommy told us never, under no circumstances, must you sell your soul. Kampala, are you with me? My people, love. It is an honor. It's an honor to be able to come back and just perform for you the same stuff I used to write in my bedroom when I was stressed out. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Some of you may have heard of an artist called Burna Boy. I don't know. He's kind of famous. You heard of Burna Boy? Wow, coming like you don't love Burna Boy. I love Burna Boy, and he hit me up one time to give some words to a song that he wrote called Real Life. Are you not familiar with that song? That one that really touched me. Can I share it with you? It's about the loss of life at a young age. Have you ever seen an older get frozen in time when they're younger than you? Because you've grown and they've died. And all you have left is a hole in your mind. A ghost in its prime, frozen in time. They don't get any more moments to shine. Just media, talking about involvement in crime. Don't look at me like that. You think we pick and choose who gets to live, who gets to win and lose. You think we don't sometimes want to walk in different shoes. You think we don't want more for these gifted youths than pedalback shifts and moves. Well now, his mom doesn't understand why her son was stabbed. Nothing on this earth can make that dad believe there's a good reason why his son had to leave. Left the man them too mad to grieve. Now his little sister's generation has to back the beef. And no one knows why this had to be, but this is the life we live, and it's sad to see. One message that I want to give you guys today is that a lot of people have this idea that when they finally leave Uganda and they get to London and they get to New York and they get to wherever, things are going to fall into place. I'm sorry, but that ain't always the case. A lot of people are struggling. They won't necessarily tell you, they won't broadcast it, but London is cold. So on those days where Kampala's weighing heavy on you, I know Kampala's not easy, it feels like an obstacle course sometimes, just know that there's other problems waiting on the other side of the water. You feel me? Thank you. So here's a piece that... Thank you. Here's a piece that I want to perform for you, Lord, that was written about the problems that we have back home. You know me, problems. You know what I'm saying? And this is a song that I wrote around that issue about how we live in the community. This one is called Cat D. Let's go. And I went to one prison in particular. So every now and then I go to prisons and I talk to the man them about socialism, our own conditions, how we're supposed to fix them. One time I had to go to Brixton. The man them asked me what I think of rap. I said there's music and politics and we ain't supposed to mix them. People think my issues with spitting, it isn't. It's that spitting didn't stop you from sitting in prison, and that's just odd to me. Rap's a commodity. It's got to be the best thing adapted from poverty. So if so many men have seen a payout, why aren't there communities guaranteed a way out? The man then took a second to ruminate, and I felt like I started a true debate. So I was getting ready to adjudicate, because I love seeing young people communicate. And then one man broke the silence. He said, when I rap, I'm not promoting violence, but I talk about the roads to motivate the younger G's under me that are holding weight. People just get offended because they don't relate. And I knew what he was saying, so I told him straight. I said, bro, 100%, no debate. I understand what man are talking about, but I've become a man that plans on sorting this out, and I'm sick of being told to wait. Hip-hop has been around for time, but all I can see is some tatted celebrities that can spin around the rhyme. Where's the long-term economic plan? I ain't gonna pick up a mic if I ain't speaking on it, fam. Rap's a commodity adapted from poverty. It should be owned by the streets, but it's owned by the labels who make our own kind compete when we're the only ones that should have the monopoly. Rap's a commodity adapted from poverty. From a minority, it attracts a majority, but the minority's issues ain't sorted out enough. So why does no one talk about this stuff? Everyone started looking introspective, and then one of the guys interjected. He said, it's true, our image has been projected, but the culture that we're from hasn't been protected. He carried on. Me, I was physically mute. He said, I'm a man that's in prison because he shoots. A lot of these rap guys are talking about my life, but I'd rather listen to you than listen to these youths. George, when you're locked up, you get time to think. Otherwise, your mind will shrink. So I like hearing things that expand my mind, not how I'm selling drugs and I bang my nine. Furthermore, a lot of these men are lying. I said, bro, all I can tell you is I'm a man on a mission, going ham on a vision, and I ain't no damn politician. I'm a stakeholder. And I want to take over, to give these kids a future that ain't so dark. So the aim of the game is to make dough cuts. That's why instead of just selling you dreams, I'd rather talk to you about revenue schemes. And I won't lie, it bothers me I'm having to discern this whole ideology in capitalist terms, but I'm not in a position to execute a revolution. So for now, my resolution's evolution. The first thing to acknowledge is we need our own colleges, scholarships, politics, for our own brothers and sisters, our own governance systems. Secondly, we need intellectual weaponry, research institutes, employers and friends in high places, judges, lawyers from ends. Thirdly, education is very certain. Our kids should be leading by at least 2030. And fourthly, let's look out for each other everywhere. North, east, west and south. Let's test this out. That's how it's gotta be. And number 5 is one word: property. Our community's in need of this. And if you want, I can give you a lot of reading this, because I'd rather be the one providing a word for you to consider when you're riding your birds. And that's my 5-point plan. For now, it might sound a bit strange, but if you're down with this change, then it's you who I'm giving it out to. But at the same time, it isn't about you. It's the youth who will be living it out through. And it's gonna happen, with or without you. The room went quiet again. And the man said, you're gonna start a riot in Penn. Tupac tried it once, we're gonna try it again. You know they're gonna block your bars on purpose. I said, thank you for reminding me, bro, that's my point. Rap's not music, it's a broadcasting service. We decide what we talk about. So if it's more than dope on curbs and smoking herbs, then how can I really go unheard when my job description is spoken word? Thank you. Listen, I want to thank every single poet that performed tonight. Make some noise for my poet in Uganda, 256. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming through. This literally came up 4 days ago or a few days ago, and you guys were able to come and show support. Thank you to all of the staff. Big up Motive. In fact, I'm going to get the names right. I'm going to do this properly. Make some noise for Motive for providing this space. Because it's not just me. It's not just me. I also want to give a massive thank you to Chantal. She's the woman that has been running around making sure that everyone is taken care of. I want to give a big shout out to Auntie Max in the corner. You see the art, you see the works, all of that. Of course, big up our host, Mark Gordon. He's a real guy. Shout out to Devis the poet. And big up Samir. She puts it in place. That's why I married her. So please come to the stage. Mrs. Sandra Mpanga. She produced this event within a matter of days. Your wife will either be your stress or your salvation, and this one, she must. And we have to give it. Thank you for coming. Shouts out to my cousin Aggie, who made this possible, the plug, and of course, big one more. Alright, run that track, bro. Yeah. One more. If you got instance, alright, cool. Yeah. This one, you can find from my color session, you can find it on YouTube. It's called Follow the Leader. I love my mum, but I don't want to see her right now. But she's gonna take one look at me and worry about my lifestyle. Don't worry about my lifestyle. You know your son. Your son's got a goal. I got this whole thing under control. Yes, I'm